It was supposed to be an ordinary evening, one of those dull family dinners where everyone pretends to care, while silently judging each other. But that night, the air felt heavier. My father's jaw was tight, my mother's eyes sharp with that quiet kind of anger that always came before something cruel. I just told them I was quitting my office job. I couldn't keep pretending anymore. Couldn't keep living a life that drained me just to make them proud. I wanted to start my own repair business, something small but mine. Dad slammed his fork down. "You're what?" "I'm leaving the firm," I said. "I've saved enough to try something new. I'm done living someone else's plan." Mom's voice cracked like a whip. "You're throwing away everything we did for you. We sacrificed so much so you could be stable, not whatever this is." "I didn't ask for your sacrifices," I said quietly. "You did what you thought was right." That's when Dad said it. Cold, final, venomous. "This family would have been better off without you." For a second, I thought I misheard him. Then Mom added, "He's right. You've done nothing but disappoint us." The room spun. I couldn't even breathe. I just sat there, staring at the two people who raised me, realizing how little they actually knew me. I stood up slowly. "If that's how you feel, then I won't be your burden anymore." Dad didn't stop me. Mom didn't look up. The only sound was the clink of a fork against a plate as I grabbed my jacket and walked out. Outside, the night was freezing. I didn't even take my car. I just walked, past the quiet houses, past the street where I grew up. Every word they'd said echoed in my head, mixing with memories of childhood birthdays, homework help, laughter that suddenly felt fake. By the time I reached my tiny apartment, I wasn't angry anymore. I was calm, dangerously calm. Their words didn't break me, they clarified me. They thought I was worthless because I didn't follow their idea of success. Fine. I'd build something on my own, something they couldn't mock, something they couldn't control. That night, I made a promise to myself. I would disappear from their lives. No calls, no updates, nothing. And one day, when they finally realized what they'd lost, they'd see this family might have been better off without me, but I was infinitely better off without them. 6 months passed after that night. Not a single call, not even a text. I didn't reach out either. My parents had made their point clear. I was the disappointment, the black mark on their perfect family portrait. So I let them have their picture without me. In that silence, something changed. I stopped trying to prove anything to them. I woke up earlier, worked harder, and slowly began building my repair business out of my one-bedroom apartment. I took odd jobs at first, fixing phones, restoring old laptops, even rewiring coffee machines for local cafes. It wasn't glamorous, but it was honest. And for the first time, the money I made came from something I built with my own hands. There were nights when the loneliness hit hard. No family dinners, no birthdays, no one to call when I was too tired to keep going. But then a customer would text to say, "You saved my shop," or "You're really good at this," and suddenly the silence didn't sting as much. By the end of the year, I had a rented workshop, 2 part-time employees, and a growing list of loyal clients. Word spread quickly. A quiet, reliable tech repair guy who charged fair prices and always delivered. I didn't have fancy degrees or corporate titles anymore, but I had peace. Then one day, I got a call I never expected. "Hi, is this Ethan?" The voice was shaky, familiar. It took me a second to realize it was my sister, Lily. "Yeah," I said slowly. "What's wrong?" "It's Mom," she said. "Dad lost his job last month. They're struggling. The house needs repairs, and they can't afford it. I told them to call you, but they're too proud." I almost laughed, not because it was funny, but because life has a way of circling back. The same people who told me this family would have been better off without me were now sitting in a broken house, needing help from the son they'd erased. For a moment, I thought about saying no, about letting them feel the sting of abandonment they'd handed me so easily. But I couldn't, not because I forgave them, but because I'd already moved beyond them. A week later, I drove to their house, the same one I'd stormed out of months ago, now looking smaller and older than I remembered. Dad opened the door. He looked thinner, tired, his pride worn down. Mom was behind him, arms crossed, but eyes softer than before. "You're here," she said quietly. "I heard you needed help." I replied. They didn't speak as I unloaded my tools. I spent the day fixing the heating system, patching the wiring, and repairing the old washing machine that hadn't worked in weeks. They offered me lunch, but I declined. I wasn't there to reconnect. I was there to do a job, and do it well. When I finished, Dad followed me to the driveway. "You didn't have to," he said. "I know," I replied. He looked at the ground. "We were wrong. About everything. About you." I didn't respond. I just packed up my van, ready to leave. Then Mom came out holding an envelope. "It's not much," she said. "Payment." I shook my head. "I don't need your money." She looked at me for a long time, her lips trembling like she wanted to say something, but couldn't. "You're different," she whispered. "No," I said. "I just stopped needing your approval." I got in my van and started the engine. As I drove away, I caught a glimpse of them in the rearview mirror, two small figures standing in the fading light, realizing too late what their words had cost. They once told me this family would have been better off without me. Now, standing in their broken house, surrounded by the things I'd repaired, I finally understood the truth. They hadn't lost a son that night. They'd lost the only person who ever tried to fix what was broken, in their home and in their hearts. Weeks later, I got a letter in the mail, handwritten, trembling script I instantly recognized as my mother's. She wrote that the house felt empty without me, that Dad had been trying to fix things around the place, but nothing worked the way it used to. She said they'd finally realized that respectable wasn't about job titles or paychecks. It was about integrity, something they'd only learned after losing me. I read it twice, then folded it neatly and set it aside. I didn't reply, not out of anger, but peace. I had finally stopped waiting for their validation. I had built something solid on my own, a business, a community, a life that didn't depend on their approval. Months later, Lily stopped by my shop. She hugged me, said Mom talked about me every day, and that Dad was proud of me, though he'd never say it aloud. I just smiled and said, "That's enough." Because the truth is, I didn't need their apology anymore. I'd already found my worth in the quiet moments, fixing things, helping people, building a name that meant something real. They said the family would have been better off without me. Turns out, I was the one better off without them. If this story hit you, share it. Some of us spend years chasing approval from people who never truly see us. Sometimes walking away isn't selfish. It's survival. Let them regret losing your peace, not the other way around.